Hi guys. Um, I just wanted to make a video to highlight some really good sessions that I've had over the last week, 10 days or so. Um, we've been making good progress on the site. Matt's hard at work on the algorithms and the tech side. I'm trying to come up with ideas on how to optimize the human side so we get more consistent performance from our viewers and from me. Had sort of an up and down week, but that's going to happen. There's challenges in all this. You'll have some weeks where it feels like you can't miss. But even in the up and down weeks, you end up producing a lot of really good material. So we're going to go over those today. This first one, upright, shiny, reflective shape. This right over here, this is my impression. I didn't submit any sketches for this one, just the text. But upright, shiny, reflective shape. Feels like I'm looking down at it. Feels hot. Full of liquid that increases energy and helps something to move and act faster. Which I don't love that actually, the act faster part, but we'll go into that. Feels like it's sitting on a surface designed as a platform to hold this specific thing. Get real. That was really good. And blind. This is all verified blind. Just getting these impressions and I'm trying to describe them. And that's what comes out of it. Feels like it's sitting on a surface designed as a platform to hold this specific thing. That was really, really good. Probably a targ 5.5. You could make an argument for a targ 6 on that because I'm describing the function. But you'll see the AI didn't like it. Nova really liked it. The algorithms liked it okay. I think we ended up making money on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 4. So yeah, so that was 1. It's not real money. We're only paper trading, but still, you understand. But as far as ranking it out of 10, the AI looked at my session data, my description, and it looked at 10 possible pictures, and the correct picture was hidden among those 10 options. And the AI decided that there were 8 other pictures that better matched that description than the one you're looking at. So that is a tough pill to swallow. You just got to ignore the AI right now, really. Regardless of whether you feel like you did good or bad, the AI is going to, sometimes it's just gonna vomit all over your session. And it feels horrible. But I try to just focus on the quality of the work that I'm putting out because the technology is going to get better and it's important to continue building good practices. The phenomenon is what's important. That's what I try to remember. So this is a good example of the phenomenon. Next, I love this session. And in this case, the AI loved it too. A dark rectangular shape, a light colored background, which wasn't correct. It was a dark background, but I wonder if I wasn't seeing like the bottom down here, how this is all dark against this light colored, I don't know. Either way, dark rectangular shape on a light colored background with some circular element built into the surface of the main shape. Not built in, but I really like that part. Feels like I'm looking down at it. Feels like I can see the point of a right angle from above. Really like all that. And the AI liked it too. It only found one other image that it thought matched better. It almost gave me a perfect 7, and we made money on 1, 2, so that's 9 out of 10. So good session. This is another really good one that happened. So it's 10 out of 10. We made money on, looks like 7 of them. X-shaped structure. Feels like this shape repeats. I love that. Just looking at 6 of the same thing. Serves a structural purpose like bars or scaffolding. What this is a slime mold. They did this experiment where Japanese researchers tried to get a slime mold to look at efficient ways to get to different oats that they had positioned so that they could represent population centers around Tokyo. And the slime mold recreated the Tokyo railway network just using cellular intelligence. It just made this really efficient path to all these different population centers. And it did so as efficiently as these engineers did. So it was a good example of cellular intelligence. I remember that study when it came out. I think it was like 2010 or something. But this next part, also hourglass feelings. I was getting a sense of like time ticking away, like time going by in this hourglass. And you'll see, not only is it the shape that repeats right here, all these, right? But it shows you how much time is passing in each one of them. 0 hours, 5 hours, 8 hours, and so on. So I really like that I was talking about hours, the hourglass feelings, and you can sit there and look at it, and it's a representation of time passing. That was a really good session. All right, moving on. Also, I did another take on this same. This is the second time I've gotten that target. The other one was also a 10. And in that case, I said that there were floating feelings, organic life form shapes that feels like I'm seeing its profile against a solid color background, which was excellent. Feels like I'm seeing something swimming underwater, like the body is suspended in a medium that lets it float around, even though the body looks heavy. Like it's a slime mold. That's exactly what it's doing, is floating around in this medium. But so two bites at the apple is what I'm saying on this particular target. One was on the 5th, and the other was on the 12th. Both of them were pretty decent hits. So I'll take it. All right. Next one was this Navajo monument. This was great. This is our first live stream, and it's no longer up because I had some technical issues, but you'll see it worked out pretty well. This was actually my second scan. Let's go for the first one first. Sometimes they get mixed up. Your first scan will show up as image 2 or whatever. Don't worry about it. They're all logged. They're all permanent. They're immutable, so you can't change them after the fact. I said that it felt like L-shaped feelings. Feels like something standing up. Concrete. A light-colored main subject against dark concrete textures. Feels like I'm looking down at it. I don't love that I said that it feels like I'm looking down at it, because obviously I'm not. It is underneath this overhanging rock up here. This is the Navajo National Monument. It's an ancestral Puebloan collection of structures that they had built underneath this like overhanging rock cliff. And the next scan, I said that I was getting these pillars, pillar shape, wide at the bottom and then gets narrower as it transitions from the base to the vertical column above, like a Corinthian column. That specific, I probably should have backed off from. I should have written AO Corinthian column. If I'm doing it completely correctly, that's the right way to do it, because that's what I was seeing. But then I got back on the path, and I was doing it right, because not only was I able to get past the Corinthian column thing, I tried to dig into what feelings were coming through with that Corinthian column. And I got old world architecture, which is wonderful. And that launched me on this whole path where I was like, oh, there's these archaeological feelings. This feels antique. And that took me all the way to intact but crumbling, like it's worn by time. I really, really like that. I like it whenever it feels like the text of the description is reminiscent of the feeling that you get from the target. This feels like it's crumbling when you look at it. So, anyways, good stuff. And it was similar to another hit that I got recently, which was this one here. It was another number 10 ranking. I said that this looked like a large arched opening in front of me. I wish I would have said entryway. I really wish I would have said that because that is the impression I was getting. It felt like I was walking into this place like an entryway, but I didn't. I just had a large opening in front of me. And it's not arched exactly, but there are these like lights, these domes that create this impression of this archway right in the middle of this. So I think that's what was happening. Sometimes Sometimes it's almost like you're looking at your target through very squinted eyes, or like somebody has put a very thin sheet of paper over your target and you're looking through the paper. It's a strange impression. And that's only when you actually get visuals. Most of the time, I'm not even getting visuals. I'm just getting these intuitive sensations and feelings. But I did say hard feelings like stone or concrete. Again, I said it feels like old architecture. And in this case, just like the other one, it's a representation of like this ancient building. So I like examples of that where the subconscious is communicating the same kind of feeling with the same kind of target. That's the goal, to get to the point where you can recognize how it is your subconscious wants to communicate with you. All right, what else do we have? Oh, I love this session. This was another one I did live. Another number 10. Um, I like Ashwin saying this. Nobody would have believed it if it wasn't caught on camera. Pay attention to Ashwin, by the way. Ashwin is an incredible remote viewer, and they do sessions really quickly. So if you're ever on ARV Collective and you want a good example of somebody who's capable of doing speed sessions with a high degree of accuracy, Ashwin is a great viewer. In this one, I said, show me something I'll recognize. This is the second scan. Let's go to the first one. Why not? First scan, I felt like it was really far away. Like I was looking out over this really great long distance, but I also thought there was something close by, like there was a foreground and a background. And there kind of is. The jets are in the foreground and the sky is the background. So there is this contrast between distances. Like there's a significant difference between the foreground and the background. Kind of. There's some shape standing up in the foreground that feels vertical at the bottom and it attaches to some horizontal element at the top. I think what I was doing is I was describing this vertical aspect of the smoke from behind them, like as it goes up in the picture, and then as it kind of attaches to this line, this hard line of these jets. I didn't say that, but like there's this vertical element at the bottom, it attaches to some horizontal element at the top. And it feels like they're connected by a joint that lets the top part kind of turn and swing around. The joint part is not correct, but the idea of the part on top, the horizontal element, being able to turn and swing around, that part I liked. But the best scan was yet to come. The best scan was the second scan, where I said that I was getting sky color. Some recreation event. I really like that. It just felt fun. I don't know how else to put it. I was asking for feelings and it just felt fun. Pay attention to your feelings. People do this for fun, exciting, something high up, like high enough you can see really far. Vertigo feelings. And then I saw skydivers, like these people who were kind of playing around in the sky. And this is my target picture. So that was a really good session. I was delighted by it, in fact. You can watch that live. It's on my video feeds. Video history, I should say. This was the session that happened right after that. I got two number 10s in a row. And it's not the best session, but it does the trick. This is my first scan. You can always tell which one's my first scan because it'll have the date and time up at the top here. I said it felt like a colorful view, a variety of colors above a peak triangular shape that feels natural. It's not natural, but I'm wondering if I wasn't talking about this peak right here. Anyways, I'll show you another version of this afterwards because this is the second time I've gotten this target also. This next scan, though, I really liked. Vegetation feelings. Wavy leaf-like shapes on both sides, separated by a central football-shaped aspect that feels pointy on top and catches my eye, like the center of an exotic flower popping against a green, lush setting. I like green and lush a lot. I like the idea that this is like popping because it stands out. The wavy leaf-like shapes on both sides separated by a central football-shaped aspect. I really love that because this shape here, look at it. Look at it thinking about the shape of a football. Just look at it. If you're looking at this with your eyes kind of squinted, it makes sense why that shape was like jumping out. And then I also said that it was pointy on top. And you can see through here. That's exactly the case. Just like any other satellite dish. In this case, it's a radio telescope. Yeah, it's got this receiver. So anyways, the AI liked it. I thought it was okay. I liked it all right. This is the other example of that same target. Let's see if I've got it here. Yeah. In this one, look at this. So this was months ago. This is back in January, but round, tall shape, dirty brown, rocky color, sticking up in front of greenish blue background color. Just look at it. Like, sometimes I wonder, like, what are we doing? Like, um, you know, it's important to do the statistical significance stuff and try to figure out the math of it all, but can't we just look at it? Anyways, another good example. This was in a live stream that happened the day after those other two sessions where I did the jets and the radio telescope. This was a live stream the day after. It was another number 10 ranking. Lines forming interesting geometry, like looking into a shape and seeing a complex design of shapes within, sacred geometry, religious feelings, spiritual symbology, also feelings of wealth on display, like offerings at an altar. I really like that altar feeling because, like, when I think of an altar, I think of something that looks like this and it's got a bunch of stuff scattered underneath it, you know? But look at this other scan. I think this was actually my first scan here. Yeah, it was. See, date and time. I should just start writing scan 1 and scan 2 up at the top. Anyways. Interesting aspect on top of something. Feels outdoors. Interesting geological shape, like a cone of rock, with something standing on top of it. The upper shape feels like it splits into three main sections at the top. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. There's three of them that are very obvious right here. I'm pretty sure there's another one in the background that's laying down. And then there's these shapes over here that look like they're also these altered rocks. But as far as this repeating shape, splits into three main sections at the top. I don't think all of that is correct. It's obviously not splitting, and it's not three parts attached to the same thing, so it's not exactly correct. But I like that that information about the three of them came through because that's the most obvious number with regards to the actual target, the Eastern Island heads. It looks like there's three of them. And then it looks like there might be one in the very far distance back here, but I'm not sure. And it's not the easiest thing to make out when you're looking at it. You can't tell that that's important. So, anyways, next session. This one is a good example of how the AI will work with you if you accurately describe one aspect of the image really clearly. So in this case, look at this. We ended up making money on 8 out of 10 algorithms. And I got a 6 rating on it, which wasn't bad, but Nova almost gave it a perfect 7, a 6.2. But I said I was seeing these grid-like lines that look like rows of identical shape all lined up. I said it felt like it's indoors, but in a huge space with dim brown lighting and shadows. So I really like pretty much this entire scan was good. The next one was not as good because I was kind of focused, or the first one was not as good because I was kind of focused on these boxy shapes. I was working on figuring out what these rows of rectangular shapes that were identical, what do those mean? Um, but I said it felt like I was looking down at motion contained within a fixed path, like a steady flow of motion, boxy feelings like box shapes moving together, systematic motion, orderly. None of that's correct. But the AI was still able to latch on to the quality of this one scan because this one scan is pretty good considering this shape in the background with these rows of identical grid-like lines. So, next example. This is a good example of the AI just hurting my feelings. Because this was one scan, one image, and I nailed it. And I got nothing. Look at this. We would have lost money. If this was real, we would have lost money on 10 out of 10 trades, which would be, it's a bitter pill to swallow, but you can swallow it if it's a bad session. You can just be like, well, I didn't do my job. But in this case, I did. I said that it was a collection of arch shapes, like multiple arch openings right next to each other. Overhanging structure. I love that. It's literally, if you were to go into a recording studio, the name for the mic that they put over those symbols is the overhead mic. So like these overhanging structures, it's just a really good feeling. Sometimes when you're in the remote viewing environment, you'll feel like your own sense of space is being impacted by the area around you. And in this case, I felt like there was something above me, like hanging above me. Anyways, it feels like looking at openings in a rocky formation. I love that the word rock is coming in here, first of all, because it's this drum set. But also, look at this kind of concrete color in the background. It's the same gray that I drew down here, and I think it was driving the idea that this was like some rock face, which also led to the incorrect description that comes later. But feels like a natural surface that's been altered so something can fit inside. Is this wood that's been changed to circular? And then like also here so something can fit inside. It's everything you're looking at is hollow. Life form feelings, like a group of life forms that live and move together. That was driven by this idea that it was these holes in rocks. But then it led me to this brown color like muddy rock. So I drew gray. I'm talking about these circles. I drew 4 of these round circle shapes. There are 4 drums, and there are 5 technically if you count the hi-hat as 2, but there are 4 collections of cymbal shapes right next to each other. All of them are these arch shapes. So yeah, sometimes the AI will just hurt you. Sorry, we're early in all this. Nothing works perfect yet. This next one was cool though. This is another example of a target that I've gotten multiple hits on. I'll show you the other one here shortly. But in this case, the first scan and the last scan were really good. And the one in the middle, I was getting driven by this analytical overlay of these crayons, and I couldn't really figure out what they meant. But looking at it, I think they were talking about the color. But let's just go into this. Feels like a deep, dark indigo blue color with gold details around the edges and repeating up and down wavy triangular patterns, or in a repeating up and down wavy triangular pattern. So the deep dark blue indigo color, I feel like is pretty easy to understand where that's coming from. Get this, gold details around the edges in repeating up, down, wavy triangular patterns. Pretty good. Pretty good. That staircase was jumping out at me for some reason because look what I did with the next scan. Something here begins as a straight shape, then splits into two at the top. Y-shaped feelings. Feels like something cuts through the surface, creating an area of separation and a line behind that action. I thought I was looking at scissors, but I did correctly here, and I just declared those scissors as analytical overlay and the letter Y. If you look at this. This is really good. The staircase here, it continues up past the point where it splits off to the left, creating this Y shape. Like it begins in a straight line, splits into two at the top, Y-shaped feelings. Feels like something cuts through the surface, creating an area of separation and a line behind that action. Anyways, that level of resolution, that's a goal of mine. That's one of the reasons why I harp on it in my sessions when I'm looking over them like this, is because if I feel like I'm in contact and I'm getting an impression, I'm trying to build the habit of not running away from it, because that happens sometimes. Sometimes I will be like, oh, describe it, get rid of it, because I don't want to get anything wrong. But if you're in contact with your target and you have a good impression, hold it. Hold your impression and try to feel the aspects of your impression that seem really important. There's something important that this sensory information is indicating. And I need to focus on my reaction to it. When I get that sensory impression, what is it that's being communicated? What's the important part of this impression? And the more times you go through that exercise, the better you get at identifying what part of that impression is really popping out. And in this case, it wasn't the fact that the scissors were metal, so I didn't say metal. It wasn't the fact that the scissors were small, I didn't say small. I said it felt like it was a Y shape, like it was a straight shape that splits into two at the top. And it cuts through the surface, creating an area of separation and a line behind that action. All of that is the important part of what I was seeing. So I hope somebody gets something out of that, because that's kind of the trick of this thing. One of many tricks. Here's the other session that I had on this. In this case, I only had one scan. This was back on the 9th, which is right here. And I got a number 8 rating on this one. Like looking at a line of staggered structures that come closer to my perspective on the right, which is really good. Look at the right side of the image. Lines indicating outlines, okay? Light source shining from behind them in a kind of glowing boundary line. Yep, both up here, lines indicating outlines, and a light source glowing from behind them in a kind of glowing boundary line. Shining from behind them, I should say. But glowing is such a good gestalt coming through here. Anyways, loved it. And then finally, this is kind of my my arc de triomphe at the end. Two scans. The first scan, I thought I was looking at a tornado. I thought I was looking at a tornado that was dropping down from a cloud bank. And I said, it feels like this shape twists around, like a central vertical point that turns in a twisting, spinning fashion around the outside. Energy moving around and around. I love that, talking about the energy involved. Like, if you're thinking about something that is the scale and the energetic equivalent scale of a nuclear blast, like a tornado doesn't come close to the energetic scale, but it's on the right end of the spectrum. Like, the feeling I was getting was driving just how large this experience was. Um, and that wasn't the best scan. The best scan was the next one. Look at that shit. Look right at it and understand that I drew that completely blind. This shape rising up out of this, like, ring of puffy texture. And that's the way I described it too. It's this puffy, round, white shape with some ball of yellow gold color right in the center of it. Feels like some open shape, like a concave dish shape, with repeating texture around the outside that feels soft, like a natural shape. You can just look at that picture while somebody reads that from right to left. Anyways, on this one, the algorithms, how did we do on the algorithms on this one? Remind me. We got 7. We lost money on 1, we got money on 7. So, anyways, that was my performance from the last week. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I know I did. You'll see there were misses in here too. I've had a sort of a rough streak the last day or 2 days, but before that, we were uh, we were really cooking there for a bit. Anyways, I hope you guys are enjoying these. I hope you get something out of them. Um, I hope you're practicing. Please continue to practice. And just remember, if you're new to this whole concept, if this is the first video that you see here, remember that you can do this. It's important to know that. Everybody can do this. So, thanks, guys.